So, the subject to talk about today is why the increase in credit limits may not be as bad as the pundits are making it out. So, the main premise that I've heard in the news lately is that credit balances have gone up considerably lately, and that's a potential risk to everything because if people are borrowing more money on their credit cards, that means they're strapped. That means the economy is crashing. That means everything's going to fall apart, and uh, we're going to have major apocalypse soon. So that's the ongoing thing. But I had an experience the other day that kind of pointed to the reason why that may not be quite as true as possible, and the reason why that I think you got to be careful about watching these credit card balances is because I feel that there is a war on cash going on in our society right now, meaning that businesses and even the government are trying as hard as they can to get rid of the right that we have to pay with cash. And um, the thing that happened the other day is I took my family to the movie theater, and we bought tickets online. Um, I could have showed up and purchased a day in advance, but I just didn't want to drive over there. So I paid the extra fee. Of course, we went on the matinee day, so the tickets were cheaper than they normally otherwise would be. We had a good experience. But when I sent my daughter to go get some popcorn, I gave her a $20 bill and said, "You go choose what popcorn you want." And they got to the front, and then I see them. I was kind of in the back, and they're waving, "Dad, Dad." So I went over there and they don't take cash. I'm like, what? But they didn't. I had to pay with a card. So that $20 was useless for them. I had to swipe a card in order to pay for that tub of popcorn. And that was basically 25% of my overall purchase. I would have paid in cash, but I couldn't because this business decided they didn't want to take cash anymore. I had an experience a couple years ago when I tried to enter a national park, and they pushed really hard to not allow me to pay in cash. And I fought back. Eventually, they took it, but it was just really troubling to me because I heard that there was actually a lawsuit where people were trying to sue the government for not taking cash at some national parks. And they make all these different excuses, but I really believe, like it's inconvenient or it could get stolen or whatever. But I really think there is a movement in the country to try to get rid of our right to spend cash in this country. And that's concerning to me because I like cash, and I've actually tried to spend more of my cash whenever I can. I like the 2% cash back credit cards. I have those, I use them, but I just don't want the right to use cash to go away. So I try to use cash more often. And I found myself at some supermarkets where, excuse me, you get in line and you go to the automated checker thing, and I've noticed that more of those machines now don't take cash either. So you have to actually look for the right line to get into to be able to spend cash. And I think all of those things are adding up together to make it so that credit card balances are going up, and in some percentage amount they're going up because people are not allowed to pay in cash, or they end up in the wrong checking line, and instead of paying with cash they have to swipe a card. So is that 5% of the increase, 10% of the increase, 15% of the increase? I don't know, but just kind of consider that is more and more folks are choosing to use credit cards to pay for their items. Sometimes they're forced, sometimes it's just more convenient. And so every one of those balances, it goes into a monthly balance. It counts as extra credit card spending. I'm one of those folks who pays my balance off every month and have for decades. So I harvest points, I don't pay interest. But I think I'm potentially one of the unique folks. Actually, I heard that maybe half of all people pay their balance off each month, which is good. You should never carry a balance on a credit card because they're thieves. So anyhow, but my spend is higher than it would be otherwise. I can't use cash at some of the places. So just kind of consider that when folks say, average, the credit card spending is going up, it's going up, it's going up. Part of it is because more and more businesses are making it harder to use cash, and thus you have to use credit. So if the balances are up, it may not be the end of the world. It may just be that it's getting harder and harder to use cash. And so consider that when you evaluate whether or not the world's falling apart because people are spending more on their credit cards. So just food for thought. Hope you enjoyed this. None of this is a financial advice, just my own observations. So we'll see you. Bye.